Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure of being your host this evening. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the show. 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 The show.
Oh no, me neither.
Yeah, episode 2, man.
We're doing stuff. All right, cool.
Minus Lucky, he's out sick this time, so yeah, we're gonna get right into it. A lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
Over this week, it was insane. Like, let's see, who got some hot water? Nick Cannon. You got oh man, who else? Kanye. You hear about that one?
I have. Yeah. I heard he was out. Then he's back in. Then he's campaigning. Then he's not in this state. And
yeah.
What's up with my man Kanye?
Kanye pretty much went out on his campaign run and whatnot, and he went out and said that Harriet Tubman didn't actually free any slaves. That she actually sent them to go work for other white people.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, man. I was like,
if you work for someone and get paid.
I mean, I don't know if he was working for white
than,
people. I don't know if they were like, if he was essentially like saying that Harriet Tubman was just like, taking other black folks to go work for other white people in other places. But I mean,
well, if they own the businesses, you're gonna have to work for whoever owns the business.
I guess, but I mean, essentially, he said that Harriet Tubman was pretty much a slave owner. That's exactly what he was saying.
Now we ain't gonna get into essentials.
No, that's what he said.
Okay. I didn't hear it. So.
I mean, I don't get what he was trying to say there.
Okay.
At all.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that.
But you never heard that one?
Not that one.
Oh God,
I heard about the campaign.
I gotta play that.
So he said that on the campaign trail. Hey,
he did.
Well, for me,
along with a couple other things, he said, "If you got a baby, you get $1 million."
Okay, he's got my vote.
I mean, shit. No, he ain't gonna be able to fall through with that bull crap.
He's a billionaire. At least some of us gonna get some.
Is he a billionaire?
I saw it on well, you can't believe anything on the news, but it says billionaire rapper. I saw that.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Jay-Z was a billionaire, not him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did Jay-Z invent something?
Jay-Z owns Tidal.
He owns Tidal.
He has a
Rockaware. Is he Rockaware?
I mean, who wears Rockaware in 2020?
Nobody.
I don't think
I don't wear it though.
I mean, yeah. You might find it at Ross or something like that. But
I had some S. Carters I had, but I don't still have them.
Nah, I never bought any of that stuff. It was way too rich for my blood anyway.
I got it at Burlington, so.
Yeah,
it
probably got it
on
cheap.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dang, that was crazy though, man. So Kanye got into some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. I was thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know whether I want to feel bad for the guy or is it just something that the dude that, he does have some mental issues going on.
Yeah.
Okay, but my problem is that, essentially we're doing the same thing as they did with Trump, just feeding this troll. I just say, take him, sit him down somewhere, so he's not interfering
feeding what troll? As if he is the troll.
He is the troll.
He likes
attention. Those guys like attention, man. And the more that you get that to him, the more that you give him that platform, and that's what it is. And people are gonna gravitate to it. Somebody is. I don't care.
People are gonna gravitate to whatever is ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
I've noticed that over my lifetime.
Yeah. He's not. He's way out there in planet God knows what. I don't know what galaxy he's in. But we've seen this before. Same thing with Trump. He said all sorts of crazy stuff on his campaign trail.
Well, sure. That's campaigning, right?
Yeah, that is campaigning. But what gave these guys the energy was the fact that people fed into it. The media feed into it. Like, if it was me and I was in charge of the media and all that stuff, I wouldn't give those guys a platform, even though I'm kind of like doing that now. I'm really giving this guy a platform.
You wouldn't, huh?
I would, okay. But I literally just did, so I'm kind of like a hypocrite there. But I just thought it was funny. I was like, this dude said, what? And that's what it is. They say something crazy that length, and we have to bring it up.
Yeah, it's like, don't get me started. Well, this didn't happen last week, but we were talking about this on on Power 77 not about the Will and Jada thing, but about the song that old boy made in response.
He's gonna cash in on it though.
Yeah, I didn't know he was rapping, but hey, I'm a rapper now. Shoot,
I mean,
my name's in the news, right?
He's trying to strike with the eyes high. He got talking about entanglements and stuff with Jada.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
We can talk about that too, but my whole thing with that, long story short, it's really nobody's business.
Yeah.
I mean, and on top of that, it happened years ago.
I don't know.
I don't think it was recent.
Now.
I think it was like 2-3 years ago at least. So, I mean, my whole thing with that is if Will and his family, they put that behind them and all that stuff, and they got back together and they were like on a break or whatever, like for one, and I know you're going to disagree with me on this one, but if y'all take a break as a couple and whatever happens, whatever, fine. Like she slept with somebody else, he probably was sleeping with somebody else.
You were right, dude.
Huh?
You were right, Sol Dout. I disagree. Taking a break as a couple is different than if you're still married. In my book, of course.
True. I mean, yeah, but they were literally about to break up. They wanted to take a break.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I mean, they were living in separate places and stuff like that, trying to figure stuff out. And something happened.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably was sleeping with other people too. I don't know. Didn't come up. Whatever. I'm not going to.
He looked like it hurt him though.
It did.
He was kind of like.
Oh man, he was totally hurt. You can tell he almost did that Will Smith fake cry.
Yeah, that bottom lip in there.
That bottom lip quiver. Like, why you don't want me?
Why you don't want me?
Why you don't want me? And, yeah, I mean the internet pretty much killed it already. So
yeah, like he himself. He did that. He kept that lip. You could tell he's a professional because he kept the lip from all. It almost got there, but it didn't get quite to the.
He held back that one man too that he wanted to let out as soon as she was talking about it. But I mean, he held it together. But long story short, it really wasn't anybody's business, though. No. I mean, at least in my opinion, I don't know why they came out there on her show and she said.
I don't know why they want to make a show about it. I've heard some people saying so they can just drive the narrative or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And that's true. You can get ahead of it. I mean, but people still gonna take away what they want from it and
take it and go, and
they're gonna do whatever they want with it, man.
I was a little taken aback, and I mean, some stuff with me, but like the whole thing about, of course, that's media gold, so people are gonna make jokes and everything about it, but it's like, just think about the whole situation kind of got me.
Okay. Let's bring it back on a personal level. And I mean, not me and you specifically, but about relationships in general. We don't have to talk about it. Okay, we both got some stuff to talk about that. But
plenty.
I don't have to. But, like, I don't know. I think that if you guys are together, I mean, that's who you with and stuff like that, and that's what y'all are going to do, cool. But some people, they have that situation where they cool with their partners or significant other. You got it. 2020, you gotta say that you don't know who you would be. Okay. I mean, significant other, married, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever in between. I mean, if they have that situation where they're cool with people stepping out, stuff like that. Personally, I don't think that's going to work out in the long run.
It's a recipe for disaster.
It is a recipe for disaster. Not because, like for one thing, I think people are jealous by nature. I mean, everybody's pretty selfish. Yeah, people are selfish. They don't really want to share.
Yes.
Okay, they want somebody for themselves. They don't want to be running around with that. Unless, I'm not going to say that you're not that much into that person, but, I mean, you get a little bit exploring, like, I would always say that familiarity breeds contempt. Mm-hmm. So you just get tired of somebody, and then you're like, all right, it's been like,
contempt, not content, right?
Contempt.
Yes, gotcha.
So, same person over and over again for years, decades, or whatever like that. You're like, man, what else is out there? And you just start to wonder. And
you just look for something else. It don't have to be the best something else.
Yeah. And then, but the problem is that you're bringing somebody else into your situation. So it's not just that person's coming in your life as an individual, but all that person's baggage, drama, and whatever is coming in. That person's personality is coming to your relationship as well. So it's not just you. Mm-hmm. It's just, and you and your partner is you and whoever else you guys decide to bring in.
And whoever's connected to you and the partner, right?
And it's always going to bring drama no matter what. That's just my opinion on that.
Yeah, drama finds its way. It follows you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen these polyamorous couples what they end up doing.
Polyamorous. Oh, that's multiple.
Yeah, so they'll have like your wife will have another boyfriend and your husband will have a girlfriend or whatever. Mm-hmm. And usually just look on you.
Yeah, I know what it means now.
I mean, every time when that happens, it's like the situations that I've seen, it always ends up in some kind of drama.
Yes.
I've seen some stuff to where like your girlfriend, the outside girlfriend or boyfriend will end up with that husband or wife or something like that permanent. They'll break up and they'll end up with those other people. I've seen
it's always been like that.
It happens more often time than people care to admit.
Yes, more often meaning almost ever.
All because, I mean,
things out back to the people. Everyone's selfish. Everyone thinks about themselves. Everyone's like,
yeah, man. It's kind of crazy that people think that stuff works, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, or at least in from what I've seen with other folks, it rarely works. Like somebody always ends up getting hurt, and even if it does, like ends up with the husband and wife still together, that third party person that you're in there, they're always going to feel like they're on the outside of it. Like, let's say there's like an incident where you're arguing, or you guys have like something going on where you have an altercation or something like that. That husband and wife, 9 times out of 10, are gonna they're not gonna take your side in that whole thing. So you just like this third wheel that feels like you're not being heard and stuff like that. So I don't understand why people want to enter that situation either. In terms of like, oh yeah, this person, like, oh yeah, we're all together, stuff like that. It's never the case.
They don't enter with their brains, though. They enter with
you never know.
Either their emotions or their infatuations, which both change all the time, or when they're private. You know what I mean?
That's true. So,
none of those three things think correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I think the excitement of it will get to people and stuff like that. Oh, this is exciting! I got a husband, I got a wife, I got this girl on the side, stuff like that. My wife is cool with it, stuff like that. But like I said, at the end of the day, you're essentially bringing a third person into that situation that's always going to end up with some kind of conflict somewhere, and how y'all deal with that. It always ends up with like somebody's getting hurt in a wrong way. So that's just me.
No, I get it.
Oh man. So
yeah.
Fun stuff.
Well, we talked about that, even though I was like, well, I maybe just mention, but yeah, I mean, it's out there. So
it is out there. Yeah, man. So
so everybody's getting. So the hot water, right? So
the hot water stuff. Okay, so one thing that I saw this last
week. The floor is lava. Everybody's in hot water.
Everybody, the floor was definitely lava last week. You got Kanye, you got Will and Jada, Jada.
Yeah.
And, your homeboy, Nick Cannon got into it with, oh man, he got canned from Viacom, was it?
Yes.
Or
CBS Viacom? Yeah,
CBS Viacom, same thing. So I thought that was kind of wild. Like, for me, the stuff that Nick Cannon, I watched the entire thing from start to finish. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, check out Cannon Class. That episode, what was the guy he had on the show? The guy Griff, Professor Griff of Public Enemy. I almost said Poetic Justice. That was a great movie, but that's not what we're talking about.
Rest in peace, too.
Rest in peace, Pop, man. But anyway, so Professor Griff. So I watched the thing from start to finish. Okay, so Professor Griff was essentially talking about what got him into trouble, talking about like Hebrews, Jews, and things like that. And essentially, it's exactly what Nick Cannon got in trouble for last week.
Was that Inception? Hey, this is what happened to me.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. It was crazy. Like, so Griff was talking about essentially how he was talking to about how Hebrews and everything like that, they own the banks. They not Jews, folks. They pretty much like run the banks, run everything in terms of the music industry and things like that.
Yeah.
Not completely untrue, because there's a lot of people who run that stuff, and they just so happen to be Jewish. That's fine.
Right.
So essentially, what he got in trouble for was saying. He was pretty much saying that, like, we're the true Hebrews and all the stuff like that. Personally, like I said, it's stuff that I've heard it before.
I've heard it, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people know where that stuff stemmed from. I think Nick Cannon got in trouble the most when he was saying, like, talking about black people having soul and and hearts and stuff like that, nice and
compassion
stuff like that. Compassion comes from the soul and stuff like that. And that's why, and white folks just don't have that because of the melanin in their skin and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll do it, man.
Yeah, that'll do it. So essentially, he said because white folks lack melanin, they're pretty much heartless people. And I was like, yo.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. I'm not gonna back that one up. Simply because, I don't think the amount of melanin in one's skin has anything to do with what's in here.
Yeah, I mean, people have everyone has their own choices to make.
Yeah, people have their own choices. People make their own decision. It doesn't necessarily come from.
No. And we all have the capacity to make horrible, bad decisions, and we do it often.
Yeah, and we do. I mean, people have to make hardcore decisions all the time.
Yeah.
But for those of you guys who don't know where that stuff came from, the 5%ers for the Nation of Islam. I think it was back in the 60s, 70s. You know more of this about than I do, but I think it was the 60s, where you had the Nation of Islam. Of course, you guys know Farrakhan. He had
Elijah Muhammad,
all those folks. They had the Nation of Islam. There was actually an offshoot of that, based kind of loosely based off of that, but a little different. Mm-hmm. And those guys were known as 5%ers. Mm-hmm. There's lots of black celebrities that are actually involved with that.
Oh, yeah, and almost the whole Wu-Tang clan.
Almost the entire Wu-Tang clan.
Yeah.
Probably maybe one or two or not.
Brand Nubian.
There
was some.
You got, who else? Erykah Badu.
Yes.
That's one. And, I mean, there's a whole list of them. Essentially, if they come off as a little bit earthy and stuff like that, then they probably might be a little bit into that. Just a little bit.
In your Jeff Foxworthy voice. You might be a 5%.
You might be a 5% that did.
If the black man is God and the black woman is the earth,
yeah.
In your mind, you might be a 5%.
So yeah, so anybody that refers to themselves as like God or the earth, something like that. I'm not going to go into the whole history of that, because that was a long, drawn out process. And me personally, I don't know everything about it, so I'm not going to speak on it. So, but a lot of those teachings that they were talking about is in that. That was in my whole discovering religion phase. When this is before I was like, oh, it's all BS. Yeah. So before that, I actually took the time to study different religions.
Mm-hmm.
Buddhism. Let's see. What's the other one?
Judeo-Christian.
All the Judeo-Christian stuff. Mm-hmm. I looked into all that stuff, and I found out I saw Farrakhan speak once too. I went to that.
Went to the Million Man March?
I did not go to the Million Man March.
You didn't get on the bus?
I did not get on the bus. But that was one of the things they were talking about with the 5% and things like that. Right. So what they really truly believe is that, man is God, woman is earth, and I don't even know how to explain that too well. So maybe somebody who is that can come on the show to explain that stuff even better details. But all that stuff stemmed from what Nick was talking about, and what Professor Griff was talking about stems from those teachings, stuff like that. Like I said, I've heard it, seen it. Honestly, don't think he was trying to mean it in a hateful way.
Right.
But he did kind of stick his foot in his mouth in terms of...
Yeah, it came on. I mean, you got to think of how it's going to...
How
it's going to look. And I know a lot of people don't like to throw out the whole politically correct thing. And it doesn't have to be like that, but you gotta take into consideration.
Yeah.
Who is listening, which is everybody.
Yep.
Who can... Once it's out there, it's out there,
Yeah. I mean, he stood by it, though.
Yeah.
And he even told everybody, said, look, man, I'm more than happy to be educated on stuff that I don't know or misunderstood, anything like that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, one thing I did appreciate is the fact that he didn't double down on it. It's like, this is what I believe, so F everybody. He stuck by what he said, but he's also open to being corrected and, open to a dialogue about it.
Yeah.
Unlike President Double Down, that's what I call it. If he says something, then he's not going to change his mind on anything, and that's it. So I do appreciate that part of it.
Maybe we should get a sit down with us two and the president. Maybe we can, I would love. Man, people talk about they don't want to go to the White House and they get invited.
Yeah,
I would love to go. I don't care who's the president.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
That's an opportunity you don't get every time. The one president I got, George Bush Sr. was coming off one of those little cars in Chicago O'Hare. and he was waving at folks when Junior was running,
Yeah.
and he looked right at me. So that's the closest I've ever been to a president.
No, I've never been close to a president at all. Like, one thing I always wanted to do, I wanted to be the guy who writes President Trump's tweets. Like, he goes in on so many people. I want to have a job where, I mean, just give me like 1 month where I can write that man's tweets and just go in on people.
Ghostwrite, huh?
Oh yeah, man. Ghostwrite that man's tweets. That'd be great. I'd be talking shit to everybody.
But it would sound like your voice.
Nah, it totally would, but you know,
you can't hack the president, man.
I wouldn't hack. Like I said, I just want him to say, hey, Gary, you could take my Twitter account for like 1 month. Like, you just got to go on the people I tell you to go in on, and I'd be writing jokes about folks. Like, you know, I'll be throwing your mama jokes in there.
Oh, okay.
Stuff like that.
Lightning, yeah, no.
Oh, hell yeah.
By the way, we never said our names.
Oh, I didn't? Oh, yeah.
I just said, you just said yours, I think I said mine.
I don't think
I don't think I said mine.
No.
Who am I?
Oh, Antonio Banderas.
Aaron Bandera.
And Aaron Bandera.
Yeah, this is Sol Dout.
I'm Sol Dout, your antisocial social theorist.
Yeah.
No, we just started jumping into this show like everybody knew who we were.
Hey, that's all right. We can jump in.
Oh, that's fine though, man. We probably went anyway.
Thanks for catching us. We jumped in.
Yeah, episode 2. I mean, you guys can catch the show on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I tried to throw it on Instagram, but they said I don't have enough followers yet, so.
You have to have a quota of followers to put.
You have to have 10,000 people who know who you are before you can post a video.
Any video?
Yes. At least somebody can help me out with that. So I don't understand the logic in that. Like, you know,
that's
you gotta have
discriminatory.
You gotta be an influencer before you can be an influencer. I don't know how that works. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Like, you know, I've never been all that photogenic where I'm like this hot model dude with like an 8-pack and everything like that. And
I don't like the way I look either.
So yeah, I ate too many hamburgers and steaks and whiskey. So
yeah.
So, dang man. Whew. Anywho, we done for today?
Oh. Well, are we gonna get into why they said?
Oh, we never talked. Did we finish that?
We talked about what he said, but where did that come from? We didn't talk about that.
Oh, okay.
You know, like the whole way. Hey, it could have been.
Oh, right. Like, so Hebrews, Jews, and everything like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
From what I've learned about the whole thing, like, okay, so again, about the whole aspect of Kemet and everything like that. So originally, Hebrews were dark-skinned folks, black-skinned, stuff like that. Like, you gotta think about all the way back to ancient Egypt. Most folks, like, and you can chime in anytime you want to, but so most folks think that when they think of ancient Egypt, they think of like
Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, they think of Elizabeth Taylor, people like that. But if you look at history in terms of like what folks look like and things like that, a lot of people think that, you know, they were like beige-skinned people running Egypt at the time. But ancient Egypt actually was black folks.
Yeah,
like,
Egypt is in Africa.
Yeah,
and they were dark-skinned, black and brown people. So even on their hieroglyphics, you'll see it.
Yeah, even on the hieroglyphics, you'll see that. Like, you know, people like Alexander the Great went to Egypt. He saw like the noses and everything like that. They were like big black people.
Yeah,
noses
double barrel, man.
Yeah, and he ended up chopping the nose off that. That happened. That's historical fact.
And a lot of the Egyptian artifacts, for some reason, lips and noses are gone. It's like the potter or whoever the guy, the mason, he could not make a lip or a nose. What's his problem? Because they all falling off. Big
old black lips, big old nose is just all of a sudden gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, what they think is like, oh, well, they just fell off the tongue, but that's not actually what happened. So, you know,
how come the ear is still there?
Yeah, ears are still there. All the other fingers are there, but just not the noses. So, and that's another thing too that people don't know, and like that's why when black folks hear about their history and things like that, oh, they haven't created this, they never did that, they were always behind. But when you look at it, it's like, actually, we did these things.
It's one of the first major civilizations, right? One
of the first major civilizations where people built stuff and grew things and everything like that was in Africa, and those were black people who did that.
And the whole Hebrew thing, I mean, even looking biblically, Joseph, you know, one of the 12 tribes, he got sold to Egypt and was able to live there as an Egyptian and wasn't even recognized by his brothers and was seen as an Egyptian to everyone else. And even it said that he was actually got a pyramid for his sarcophagus, where he was mummified. So he was seen as an Egyptian. I mean, Moses grew up as an Egyptian as well, and I mean, Moses married an Ethiopian. So there's black and brown is all throughout the Old Testament. And as far as are all modern blacks Hebrews, we will never know that for sure.
100%.
I mean, think about it. Israel, who was Jacob, who was a grandson of Abraham, he had 12 sons. We don't know about the daughters. 12 sons. He did have daughters as well, by 4 different baby mamas. So they could have had some variations in their melanin.
Yeah, 12 kids with 4 baby mamas. That sounds like a black guy to me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, man. Jeez. Yeah. And that's one of those situations. We would take it back. That's one of those situations where, hey, the whole, what do you call it, polyamory? When you have multiples, there were plenty of problems. Just read Genesis. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So even then, like you talk about historical stuff is about and what it boils down to, especially if you think about what Nick was saying. I'm not trying to justify anything we said about white folks being evil, but what I am going to talk about is the fact that what a lot of African Americans feel is that their history is essentially has been decimated. Yeah. Like I can't track who my people are past, maybe like
great grandfather,
great grandfather, great grandmother, stuff like that. Like I can track my family down to a plantation in Louisiana. Yeah. That's as far as we can go. But I don't know what country in Africa my people are from, or anything like that. I guess I can pay for that with some kind of genealogy thing, but
I'm not gonna give my DNA to pay to send it to somebody else so they can have it on a database.
Definitely not gonna do that.
Right.
And so stuff like that, it's like that lost history, not knowing that, and then knowing certain other aspects about history that I was able to fill in. Like for example, you would be led to believe that, Europeans were the first one in the Americas, stuff like that. But there's actual evidence of people from Africa who traveled to South America and stuff like long before anybody else got there. Then you have evidence, like even in Japan, there was a black samurai that was out there. I mean, he wasn't born a slave or anything like that. Right. He just ended up in Africa and ended up being a really badass samurai. I seen that.
Can I tangent? When you were in Japan, I know they embrace American and black culture, but did you see did they embrace any of that history of blackness? And I know they got Mr. Popo and stuff out there, but do we get thrown any bones out there?
I mean,
not that's in through our nose,
I mean, yes and no. Like, I got a lot of questions about like where my family was from. Like, like when I went out there, I said, I'm American, and they're like, oh, so where's your mom from? Well, same place. What about your grandparents? United States.
Yeah.
Then they were pretty much getting at like what part of Africa is my family from. Like, they would think that
Like, say, hey, we don't know.
I couldn't answer that question. Yeah. Your guess is good as mine.
But they would ask you that, huh?
Yeah, they would ask me that. So, I mean, they would ask me a lot about, like the young folks, they would ask me a lot about hip hop and culture and things like that. And because that's what they see on TV. That's the stuff they want to emulate and things like that. Mm-hmm. So, that's the main stuff that I got out there. So, cool stuff, though. Yeah.
Good, man. That was thank you. That was a good discussion. Who else is going to get in hot water? Who's going to be on the lava floor next week? You want to put a wager on? I don't got no money. But
I don't know. I mean, some folks got in trouble for trying to back Nick Cannon.
Oh yeah, didn't Dwayne Wade get this one and say, "Oh no, not my age"?
Dwayne said no. I was like, yo. I was like, man, you said it. You might as well go ahead and stick with it. I mean,
like, hold up, what?
I'm not gonna say that. What I am gonna say about the whole Nick Cannon thing is like, one, I don't agree with everything, but at the same time, like this is stuff. Like if you understand like where it came from and the context of it, sure, I can see what he's talking about. Like I don't think all white people are evil, and I don't think all black people are good. That's just not realistic. Mm-hmm. I mean, because we see a lot of people do a lot of evil things on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, what's up?
I mean, yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. People are going to be people no matter.
People are people. That's a good
people are going to
blanket statement.
That's it. You're gonna have You're gonna have like most folks be good folks, and then you're gonna have that one.
Don't mess it up.
that that 2-3% of people that just want to just like take over stuff and just run everything.
Yeah.
So that is just what it is. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about this.
Oh, John played the bass?
Huh? We're not playing the bass.
Oh.
John Clark. Was it John Clark?
Mr. Clark from Lean On Me?
No, not that. That's not.
What was his name?
The Congress guy who died.
Oh yes.
Yeah. What's his name? John Clark?
I know who you're talking about.
Jacob Clark. It's another Jason.
I don't know if it was Clark. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he died.
Yeah. So
he's been in the game, like the social justice game and everything. He was. Yeah, man. Rest in peace. That was, regardless of what you feel about him or what he, political and stuff like that. He got some skins on the wall.
Yeah.
From what I hear, unless you know something I don't know. Do I gotta pull my feet out?
No, I mean, what I don't. So for me, my take on it is like this is some stuff I disagree with, that his policies and stuff like that, especially when it came down to, he took all those beatings in the '60s, and then when it came to help out younger people that came up behind him, in my opinion, he wasn't really about that life. So
gotcha.
So that would be my bone to pick with him. But again,
I don't know enough about the man, honestly.
Man's dead. Can't really say much about it, but I mean,
pray for his family, man.
Yeah, pray for his family. That's about it. I mean, pray, I guess.
Do it, man. We'll
No, get away from me.
I tried.
Yeah. So civil rights leader John. I think it was John Clark. I'm like 95% that's true. Or
I'm getting last names thrown in. It's not Williams.
No, it's not Williams.
Isn't that John Williams? Is he a? What do you call those guys?
A conductor?
Yes. Is he a?
No.
Star Wars. I'm gonna mess up everybody's name. Let me go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So that's also what happened. Man, last week was crazy.
I saw something. Now this is the ridiculous headlines that I didn't read because I'm lazy and don't look at the news time. I saw something while I was scrolling through nonsense. It said, according to Mayan calendar, Sunday is the day that some catastrophic stuff is going to happen. So like asteroid or solar flare or zombies.
What? All right, no.
They didn't mention zombies, but it could be.
Actually, what's supposed to be happening this week? There are some comets that they can be seen in the north. I want to say northwest part if you look real hard, but that's about it.
All right.
Now we're talking about absolutely nothing on the show.
Yeah.
Start talking about that. Yo.
We'll start bouncing everywhere. So.
Right, start bouncing everywhere. All right, cool. So, yeah. Cool. So, we're about done here. I'll see you guys next week. Yes, actually, no, not next week. I got a financial class, but the next time we do talk, we're going to hopefully Lucky to come back and gets better, and we can talk about like finance and stuff like that. I want to go into like entrepreneurship, working on your finances, that kind of thing. So on this show, we kind of like try to talk about everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool.
We can do that unless the lava floor gets somebody else.
Nah. I mean, so much crap happened this week. I wanted to bring all that stuff.
It happens all the time. So.
Oh my gosh! Like usually, I hate talking about like stuff like this.
Hot topics.
I hate hot topics so much.
All we need is Whoopi and them over here, man.
Nah, man. I feel like we was on the View. It does feel like we did the View today. That's what it feels like.
Let's not do the View anymore. Let's have a little bit of happening and get back to whatever.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. So, guys, thank you for checking out the show.
Yep.
I will see you guys next week.